Hi, I'm Dr. Ken Torrens. On today's episode of Legendary Living, we're going to talk about the 4 aspects of body work and care that we provide here at Legendary Living. Most times people will come on in and they've got a very simplistic attitude as far as why their body hurts. And what I mean by that is people will have a tendency to think, I'm hurting because there's something wrong with my muscles. Now, this may be true that there's something wrong with your muscles, but essentially if your muscles have been hurting any longer than 3 to 10 days, it's not just a muscle problem any longer. So we think in terms here of being able to affect people on muscle, joint, nerve, and a hormonal level. So if somebody simply has a muscle problem, that's going to be the easiest thing to deal with. Whereas if they've got a communication problem in their body, either electrically through the nerves or chemically through the hormones, that's going to be a more difficult and longer process. So what happens for most of us is we have habit patterns of the way that we use our bodies. Yes, we create stresses and strains on our musculature. And over a period of time of wear and tear, our muscles may hurt or we may have a specific muscle injury. If we're not doing things to specifically rebalance, like doing yoga exercises which elongate the muscles and reset the joints, that muscle issue is going to become a bigger problem. So now that the muscles are tightening up, the joints will follow and tighten up. When the joints have not been working properly, what happens is becomes a nerve issue. And how it becomes a nerve issue is because every joint in our body has nerve sensors within it. So that nerve sensor is there to tell you about the position, the movement, the speed of the movement, and all of that creates information about the global sense of your body. So you think about it, like when a baby is born, it really doesn't know how to do very much except for like eat and poop, right? So, but over a period of time, it starts to learn how to move, it starts to experiment, like, oh, I can touch my head now, until that becomes like fine writing. That's a whole programming between the muscles and the joints and the nerves, so that your body has an understanding of itself in space and time. So that muscle problem unattended to becomes a joint issue, becomes a nerve issue, and on top of this, depending on the area of our body that's not working well, we can think in terms of all the way up and down our spine and spinal cord. Each level takes care of something different. We also have nerve connections like, say, the lower thoracic, which goes to the adrenal glands. Well, the adrenal glands produce the hormone cortisol. A lot of people call it like adrenaline. That's one example. So simply by getting into the body, feeling where the areas of stress are, starting to relieve those stresses, we can draw back hormonal dysfunctions, nerve dysfunctions, joint dysfunctions, pull back on the muscle dysfunctions. At the point that we do that, we have to get people into active care, which means that you can't just be somebody who's relying on somebody else doing something to you. You've got to get moving in your body. We think in terms of doing this by flexibility, coordination, and strength, always in that order. Never go to the gym and start working out, just lifting weights. You've got to set the flexibility. You've got to be able to find that balance and coordination in your body, and then you can start doing the strengthening. Our techniques here involve chiropractic manipulation of the joints. We've got Swedish techniques that address the musculature, myofascial release. It's a more advanced type of technique which helps to stretch open the tissues and reset some of the way that the fluid is moving in the body. I do a couple of energy techniques like shiatsu and qigong work, which help to reset the way that the internal organs are communicating with themselves. So all of this together is the pattern that we think in terms of somebody have a muscle problem, a joint problem, nerve, or hormone. Where does this all fit into their game plan? And not just working with somebody on one day, but being able to say, hey, this is what you're looking at, and this is what our strategy is going to be. For Legendary Living, I'm Dr. Ken Torrens.